is up, you beautiful people out there? Welcome back to another episode of Ruckus Wrastlin. I am Josh Mayberry alongside my tag team partner in this journey, Justin Toner. How are we doing today?
Pretty good. Lots of fun stuff happened this week. Lots of news to talk about.
Yeah, and like I said before, right as you send over the notes and everything, we kind of get
Something
together. Something drops right in
breaking news.
between the show time, but it's okay. We go. That's
Yeah,
why we're here. Is we
yeah.
can do stuff on the fly. And that's why we're live because it makes it even more interesting. But we're not going to get that story quite yet. We're going to start with the big money stuff that just happened this past week, and that is NXT is going to be on the CW. Okay, replacing Supernatural and all those other reruns that they're showing a lot right now. So, Justin, kind of tell us a little bit of the details. We expected them to not be on the USA Network. And what do you think this and we'll kind of get into give us the details, and then we'll kind of suspect what this means for Peacock and all other stuff.
Yeah. So it's weird. Yesterday, there was a lot of rumors swirling around that NXT was going to move to the CW. That a deal was like imminent. And so a lot of people were looking into that, and then Variety released an article confirming it with quotes from both CW and Nick Khan, representing WWE, that it was a done deal. NXT is going to be moving to the CW network starting in October of next year, leaving the USA Network. It's a pretty big deal. Numbers aren't exact about it. There's a lot of back and forth about how much money they're getting, but PWSR said that their sources say that the deal is in the area of $35 to $37 million per year for WWE. And it's that Ari Emanuel said in I think like a presser or earnings call. I forget which one it was. The other day said that it was a substantial increase, like 70% more money that they're getting from CW than USA with this new deal, and I think it's like a 5-year deal, I believe.
See.
Yeah, it's a 5-year deal.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be on the CW network starting in 2024 through 2029.
Okay.
This is pretty big news. It's like there was a lot of people figured that NXT was not going to stay on the USA Network after all the money they shelled out to bring SmackDown back after Fox decided not to renew the contract with them, and that are they going to be able? It's like are they going to be willing to shell out the money to keep both Raw and NXT? Well, NXT is out of there. And moving to the CW to broadcast TV. For wrestling, WWE Wrestling will be on broadcast TV, but just not on Fox. It'll instead be NXT instead. Hasn't been confirmed yet, but word is that it's like they're planning on keeping it on the Tuesday night time slot that it currently holds. So yeah, this is big news. I mean, like CW's been going through a major change. On the last 2 years. They've completely shed out all the DC TV stuff. The Arrowverse is gone. They just announced that the last remaining Arrowverse related show, Superman and Lois, its upcoming 4th season is going to be its last. And so it's so there will be no more DC TV on CW. So they're going in a different direction. They're bringing in a lot more sports and other stuff. And this kind of goes with it, and it definitely makes sense because for them to reach out, I mean, like it's gonna get people's attention. It's definitely gonna bring eyes to the network.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, which is what they want. It's like they, and if they can pull the numbers that they've been pulling on USA, it's like that's a lot. That's more numbers than some of the current CW shows got right now, anyway. So. I think this is a big win for the CW, and it's going to be very interesting because they're going to have to change the format of the show a little bit because USA has given NXT about a 5 to 10 minute overrun since it's been on the network.
They've always done that with Raw for like years.
Yeah, and after it, because it was on exclusively on the WWE network for a long time, and then they moved it onto cable on the USA Network. And so yeah, that CW have local news at 10 o'clock across the country. The CW networks. So it's like with SmackDown, when it gets about to 10 o'clock, it's like that's it. It's like they're not gonna have wiggle room for overrun. So they're gonna have to tighten the show just a little bit.
Okay.
But other than that, that's the only thing that's probably gonna have to change is that they're gonna not have the overrun anymore. It's like by 9:50, 9:59, it's like nope, show's over. Stay tuned for your local news.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't have the. I just want the old school Shivani. It's like, I'm sorry, folks, we gotta go.
He got to say it recently, which was hilarious. He pulled out the classic, "We're desperately out of time."
Oh, it's always that just nostalgia. The member berries of that.
He did that on purpose, just because he knows.
It's Sting. It's the same thing of out of time. Anyway, and then also too, speaking about like, what does it say? Have they come up with any details about them in the deal if they're able to still stream on Peacock, or is there how much delay is it?
I heard that. I think so.
Because this isn't a NBC Universal. CW is not NBC Universal, so it's a different network, different.
Let me see here.
Conglomerate.
Checking here
because you sent me it over. Let me see who the three were that own CW. You sent it to me before when I asked you. Yeah, it's primarily Nexstar Media Group holds 75% of it, which I don't know what Nexstar is. I didn't look into it. CBS Entertainment Group, which is basically Paramount, and then obviously Warner. That's why they have all the DC shows on there because of the Warner stuff. But yeah, that's the one thing we talked about before is Peacock. What's it say about, especially when the details came out about how much money they're spending to put SmackDown back on, which is actually more per year than Fox was giving SmackDown. So I still think they're going to keep Raw and SmackDown on the same channel if they can make it work, or Raw might go to a bigger brand, but I just don't see where Raw is going to go to a separate entity not being under the NBC Universal umbrella. As far as my prediction on that. If for anyone out there, there's a really good breakdown on Wrestle Talk video of just what all went into why it went to Fox and why Fox is not basically keeping SmackDown and why they decided to move on. Long story short, I don't think the head of Fox really wanted it. I think he got sold on it because it was, it was something new. And then WWE had a really good sales pitch about we're going to bring in we're like Brock Lesnar and like all these big stars and all that stuff. And then, they were on. And so it was like, really, they went all out for that first episode. And then Fox realized that, and for people who don't watch wrestling on a weekly basis, it's like, it's really hard to keep those people keep coming back week by week, and then they hit by the pandemic, which hurt their stuff. And then the bad booking and all the other crap on top of the fact. That being said, WWE's had the past year and a half or 2 years, they're still putting up good numbers, especially even for Fox standards, but they just wanted to move on. I think for what they sold Fox on, it wasn't, I don't think they felt like they kind of got blindsided or were just lied to straight up by WWE of what they were trying to pitch to get to Fox. Even though they were still putting up solid numbers, and then the pandemic happened.
The ratings are really
and I mean, the WWE's had the most success they've ever had in the past year, even since they added even the Attitude Era and stuff. They've had financially some of the biggest success they've ever had, but Fox still didn't renew it, and it just seemed like BS reasons. So again, just to kind of give it the overlay, Wrestle Talk, another YouTube channel. I watched it. It's really how they broke it down and stuff. It's really informative. So if you do have time, go watch that on the Fox SmackDown. Just seems like a big pissing contest that a bunch of billionaires just don't like wrestling, and so they just decide to move on.
Yeah, and it's like that's their call. I mean, it plus NBC Universal, like we talked about, they've had a long working relationship with WWE. Going back to the 80s with Saturday Night's Main Event. So, it's not surprised that they want to keep some of WWE programming on the network. So it's like they, so it's going to be very to see where Raul's going to land now. It looks nothing was mentioned in the press release via Variety about it not being available on. It will be it'll still be it'll go the episodes will be uploaded onto Peacock in the WWE section for sure. Okay. I mean, they were doing that with SmackDown while it was on Fox.
Right. I figured that's kind of how they're going to do it. It's not going to be
that's not going to be an issue.
It's not going to be instant, but it's still going to be a little bit of delay.
It'll be like next day.
Yeah.
And also the CW has their free app, which is like the shows that air are available on the next day. So it's like it'll probably be on there as well. I would think as well.
Okay. But yeah, this is a really cool move for NXT. I'm glad to see all the hard work is paying off.
Yeah, it's going to get more eyeballs on the young talent. It's like like I said, if they can pull in the ratings, it's like that they're doing right now. CW is going to be. That's why I think CW went for it because it's like, well, look at the ratings they're getting on USA. It's like we're broadcast. It's like it might.
I mean,
it's like.
Like we're saying, they're averaging.
If they average between like 500,000 to like 1 million,
it's like they're averaging like 650 there at the end of it.
Yeah.
So.
Last night's was over 700. It's like it was back up. So yeah, so it'd be very interesting. I'm just glad it looks like it will stay on Tuesdays because it's like don't move it. It's like Tuesday. It's the only thing I look forward to on Tuesday nights.
yeah, I know. And. So if only Lexus King could put his sunglasses back in his jacket. Anyway, we'll get to that later. I saw that, just kind of laughed. Anyway, the breaking news that basically just happened before we went live. We want to make sure we get a little bit as much research as we could, but literally this is like 10 minutes worth of work, so just bear with us, guys. Vince McMahon has sold 8.4 million shares, nearly around 30% of his stake that he has right now in TKO. This just happened, and I know rumors are coming out that he's not very good face for the business from all the scandals and stuff that's going on. And it seems like as soon as he signed the dotted line, Ari Emanuel and Endeavor has been pushing him away.
Yeah, I mean the federal investigation is not over with; that's still ongoing.
No.
The feds are still looking at Vince. So
no, and so this is just another sign that I don't see where Vince McMahon. This is the part where I'm afraid for his mental health. I mean, you saw him on the red carpet with Undertaker, and he looked a little shriveled. He frail, I guess would say. It depends on which angle you look at it.
Yeah.
But like I said, head coaches and stuff, when their whole life is one thing, and then they don't have it anymore, it's that especially being his age, you might get the broken heart disease. And the way this is going, just as a wrestling fan, depending on what you think of Vince, when it's a person's health, that's not an evil bastard, right? I still, it still hurts a little bit to see. I'm fearing that part. That being said, circle back to the actual news story. Justin, tell us a little bit more in the details of how this transpired and what all exactly, other than the 8.4 million shares and stuff like
that. Let's say TKO issued a press release about it, basically saying that he's putting up. He started with when the whole deal went down. He started with 28.4 million shares of the stock, which is roughly 29% of a stake in the company. He's selling 8.4, so he's going to go down to 20 million shares still. So he still has a stake in the company, but he's shedding almost like a decent amount of what he has, and those shares are worth like $700 million total. So that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And also recently, there was a filing that was made public that said that, he's a financial liability, because they're not stupid. They know it's like, I think this is like, they're making steps to, like, if the feds come for Vince, it's like, and he gets indicted on something, that they'll be able to gently shove him out.
Right. Kind of, was it that? What did you see that video of, like, it was a house show? It kind of reminds me of this, like that house show of Judgment Day coming out, and Rhea's got like her, on the top of the apron, and she got her arms around Dom, and uh, the new guy, help me out here.
Yeah, they filed with it as they said that all in a filing to the FEC that he's considered a financial liability because of what's happened in the past, and also that he's still being under investigation. So they know. It's like they know that it's like they're not. Obviously, Ari Manley and these guys are not stupid. They're making preparations in case the shit hits the fan with Vince again.
Yeah. So,
which
but
is very likely.
And what I was saying was like basically there's a little house show where Rhea's got her arms around, and then JD McDonough's just like standing there next to him, and she just gently just puts her hand on his head and shoves him out of the way. I feel like that's what Ari Emanuel's like. All right, once it drops, go away.
Thanks a lot for everything, Vince. But see you later. Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. You're you're not associated with us only when we want you to be. Type.
And no, it's like, honestly, the less Vince is involved, the better. I mean, like, we're thank God Ari Emanuel told Vince to not, stay away from the creative. That's Triple H's kitchen. Let him cook. It's like, thank God for that, because we've seen the improvement in the storylines. It's like, not everything works, but things have definitely improved again since WrestleMania.
When you're booking weekly TV, it's just tough because you've got an end game we need to get here, and there has to be some fodder in between the people and there's still, but of the fodder, it's not stupid crap that we were used to, or just scripts being like, you can see where it's going, and the subtleties is keeping the storylines going, where back before Triple H took over, it was just like, oh, this is cool, oh wait, that was done, oh wait, this is cool, oh wait, oh,
and
we're going this way.
And I think eventually Vince being gone, it'll bring more people back, because I know I have friends who are wrestling fans who do not want to watch W right now because of Vince is still involved in the company, which is completely understandable after all the things he's done that have come out over the recent years. Yep. So it's like, I totally understand that. So, I mean, there's people that probably wouldn't want, while he's still there, don't want to even touch the place. It's like Eric Young was like, no, oh, Vince is back. Let me the fuck out of my contract. I'm out of here.
Right. Yeah, I'm out of here.
Bye. He didn't want to deal with that shit.
Nope. Didn't want to deal with it. And what I was hearing before Vince decided to, do like the mutiny take back to give me my company back from Succession type style. Eric Young was Triple H has some decent plans for Eric Young.
Yeah.
Too. So I think he was going to be part of the Wyatt Six or something like that, or I don't know. Anyway,
there's rumors about that.
Whenever know. Anything else about Vince slowly not being part of anything?
The day that when Vince is no longer completely involved in any way with WWE again will be a good day. Mm-hmm. That's all. That's all I feel about it.
I do thank him for all the joy that he has brought us from over these years. But dude, it's just time to step away. You just every coach.
It's time for him to go away for good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So moving on to a couple of things as far as what we got from Crown Jewel news-wise, and then we'll actually get into the recap of what actually transpired as far as match-wise and stories.
Two big news things came out.
Two big news things. Number one, we confirmed War Games, which me and Justin, or Justin and I, whoever grammatical people out there can correct it. I don't care. But we've been talking about, we love War Games. It's so cool. And we've kind of they've been hinting about War Games forever. Now, some people are like, don't call it Survivor Series, call it War Games. I'm like, but it's pretty much Survivor Series. It's just cooler. And it's not that dumb brand crap. It actually like makes sense on why these two, it's like, I'm on SmackDown, I'm on Raw. I just never understood it. Sometimes there were fun Survivor Series matches, for sure, with the brand, war, stuff like that. But it just never really made sense. Where the past two War Games, they've built it enough to make sense, and they've always been solid. Even Pat McAfee was really good in War Games, which, I mean, compared to what it was, I mean, he's still solid. But
that NXT War Games match he was in with it was Team Pat versus the Undisputed Era in that feud they're having. It's It's like he dove off the top of a cage through a table, man.
He did a freaking swanton off the top of the cage. Because that stage Adam Cole. That's my best McAfee I can do. Yeah. But yeah, and then also our girl Kari Sane. They've been talking about her re-signing. That was one of the things. She left WWE not only because she was one of those other people that were just like, I don't like what Vince is doing. Get me the heck out of here. Also, I'm tired of Nia Jax botching me because she can't wrestle.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
that match where she nearly it looked like it's like I was just like, oh my god, she could have like seriously fucked up her neck. It's like it was not good. Yeah. She and also she missed she's married. She missed her husband who was back in Japan. So she was like they let her go. It's like I want to go back home for a while. And she's yeah, I mean, this was rumored for a while because she went back to Japan. She worked in Japan for the last couple of years, working for Stardom. She had a incredible women's title match against Mercedes Moné when Mercedes beat her for the title when she went over to New Japan. So she's done very well for herself over there, but it makes sense. She came in during the Black and Gold era, so it's like Triple H has thought very highly of her, and so with him, in charge of things, and Vince not, it makes sense that she'd be interested in coming back. It's like after a while, and well, she's got some strong ties, people that she's close with, both Asuka and Io Sky. She's very close with.
Yes.
If you Google it, there was she ran into a health issue several years ago, and literally Io Sky saved her life and made sure she got to the hospital in time, while she would have died.
Dang.
So
that's really
cool. So yeah, we'll go more in depth, but yeah, she came back to help out Io Sky in her title match, which was quite a surprise. It's like because we're like, okay, it sounds like she's about to return, but I didn't. And then there was like a lot of there was hints. People were like hearing it was like, we hear she might be a crown jewel. We don't know. It's like, but I didn't see those until after I was watching the show because I was focused on the show, and so when she showed up, I was like, oh, it was great. I marked out.
Yeah, it was good stuff there.
Her finisher, the insane elbow, is it's just fucking awesome. She's one of the best elbow drops you'll ever see.
How she freaking kicks her leg up like that just makes the
airtime she gets. It's like Montez Ford with the frog splash. I don't know how she able to get the airtime she does, but it's it just looks beautiful.
Yeah, and it's always crazy when it comes to the frog splash, because I've seen so many people on Twitter be like, RVD's frog splash, and all these frog splashes, show me a better frog splash, and everyone just 13 million gifs of Montez Ford's frog splash, following it, because he just gets such good airtime.
So cool that she's back. Over a lot of interesting story possibilities I'll go into later once we talk. That could happen now that she's back, especially with who she's already allied herself with. So thumbs up.
Yep. And speaking of thumbs up, there's a few of you watching. Please feel free to leave a comment, join in this conversation of the world of wrestling. Me and Justin talk about every week. Typically, it's going to be on Thursdays from 7 to 9 Eastern time, 6 to 8 Central, for those who want to put it on the calendar. But if anything, put a thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Join the Ruckus. It's always a good time. But speaking, just kind of going on with the Japan wrestlers, the rumors are, which me and Justin are still getting familiar with her, and also how to pronounce her name. So if we do butcher it, my apologies for it's right. But is it
Giulia? I believe it's Giulia.
Okay. Thing is, we should know about her because she was top 5. I think she was top 5, number 3.
Yeah, she was in the top 5 of the
PWI top female wrestlers of the year, and it looks like PWI wasn't the only media company or conglomerate looking at her, because it looks like WWE is making a big push to get her to the Performance Center at the least, to get her on the roster. But Justin, kind of fill us in about kind of her career, and or a little bit of a career, where we're kind of sitting here and what the timetable is that you think, because I think it's inevitable at this point that we're going to see her in NXT at the least.
Yeah, it's like the PWSR, other people are reporting that they're very interested. WWE is really courting her very hard to bring her over to WWE. That she's like considered a high priority to sign. This will be a big get. She's one of the most very well known and very popular Japanese wrestlers. She's won a lot of championships for Stardom and New Japan. In fact, she just back in July of this year, she defeated Willow Nightingale to win the Strong Women's Championship, which Willow had won from Mercedes Monet when Mercedes unfortunately got injured during the match. They had to make a quick title change to get her out of there after she unfortunately got injured, which she's still recovering from. It's like I've heard that she's like amazing. I mean, like I'm just looking at her accolades. She's won like just like all kinds of multiple titles and accolades over there. She was ranked number 16 out of the top 50 women's wrestlers in 2021, and she hit number 5 this year. She made it in the top 10 this year. So sounds like from what I'm seeing here, especially with her accolades and everything and what she can do in the ring, I can see why WWE would want to bring her over.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to see if I can find out, check out some of her stuff on YouTube because I want to know more about her.
Yeah, I've seen videos, but nothing of her matches on there. But I mean, she's definitely got a good look.
She's young too. She's only 29 years old, so it's like,
yeah. So she's got a great look. And you get in the top 5, you got a great look. I don't know about her, obviously mic skills and everything like that, but if you're a solid Japanese wrestler that can offer something, Triple H does really have he really does like the Japanese wrestlers. I think he just really likes the style. He brought over Nakamura. I don't think he brought over Kari. I forget the guy that had the Back to the Future gimmick. It just didn't really work.
Kushida.
Yeah, Kushida. He brought him over. It just didn't really work out. I think Vince just had too much to do with that. That's just my theory. I don't know. But he always tries to at least get solid talent over here. And then he was able to get Kari Sane back. Because I know she was here beforehand, but so I mean, if you're solid, and I mean, I'm surprised at Tama Tonga. Just bring up that he was and his contract was coming up, and he decided to stay with New Japan, which was interesting with that, because I figured it was about time. He's kind of done everything that he can over there, unless they're like really offering him like a world title run or something like that, or like maybe intercontinental, because I know the intercontinental title is like their second biggest belt over there. So, but I mean, I haven't kept up with New Japan since Kenny left. That was when I really kept up with New Japan, when the Bullet Club was at the height of their powers.
Then you know more about New Japan than I do. So
yeah, so that's when I was just basically I was just like, oh, like the newer version of NWO, and they're kind of cool, and that's when I got to like know the Young Bucks, and then obviously being the Elite and stuff started releasing, so I started watching that. So it was really understanding what was going on with at least the Bullet Club side of the New Japan. But then I was like, geez, it's like everyone's in a faction. It's kind of weird. So I had to get used to how they do faction warfares over there. But yeah. So that's pretty much all we have on her. We will, hopefully we can get some, me and Justin can do some homework and get you all hyped up for her. And hopefully we'll get some more news that she is it seems inevitable that she'll be.
Because there's like no word that AEW is interested in her. So like if she wants to come over to WWE, it's going to happen. So
and AEW did sign a female wrestler who I have no clue about. So I'm waiting for our AEW recap for Justin to tell me who the heck she is.
I got her name now.
Yeah. And then Lastly, congratulations, Carmella and Corey Graves. They offered,
Yep.
they welcomed a baby boy by the name of Dimitri Paul Polinsky. As far as we know, and that was today, right?
Yep.
Yep.
That was just announced today.
And we knew that Carmella. That's the reason Carmella's been off TV. Is that the fact that she was pregnant? And we wish them all the best. Congratulations, and hopefully,
Yeah, this is great because because last year she revealed that she had lost she was previously pregnant, but she lost the baby, and it that hurt her really hard. She was depressed for a while. It's like, so the fact that she was able to get pregnant again and this time deliver a healthy baby that's fantastic. And it's like she's got a lot of step siblings waiting for her from Corey's first marriage. And from what I've seen and heard, his kids are very fond of Carmella, their stepmom. They have a very good relationship. And I saw the video when they announced to the rest of his kids that she was going to have a baby and bring a sibling into the world. They were very excited. So yeah, very good news. Really cool. So mazel tov.
Yeah. All right. So I think, is there any other news?
I think that's all the major news.
All right, Jess. Well, I will turn it over to you, good sir, to break down SmackDown. And
yeah,
this is going to be kind of a short segment, guys, because we're going to spend more time on Crown Jewel compared to what we used to do on for SmackDown stuff. So, Justin, just kind of tell us what all the main points are. We'll talk about it for a little bit, but then we'll mainly move on to Crown Jewel.
Yeah. All right. So the main things at SmackDown was LA Knight opened the show, cutting a promo on Roman for their title match. Roman and Heyman came out and interrupted. Went back and forth. They threw some digs at each other, and then Nick Aldis and officials came in to keep them from getting physical. Kevin Owens defeated Austin Theory in singles match, while Grayson Waller was on the commentary desk to continue that whole angle. Very interesting pairing. Didn't expect this. Charlotte Flair and Shotzi teamed up and defeated Chelsea Green and Piper Niven in a non-title match. So they're going to get a title shot against the tag champs in the near future. It was a little weird, but it's at least the titles are being featured in something. It's like there's a lot of people are coming after them, so it's a good thing. Pretty Deadly and Brawling Brutes continued their feud. They had a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match, is what it was called. Basically, street fight. Pretty Deadly won that. So Pretty Deadly's had Brawling Brutes number so far, so we're going to see what's going to happen next. And then the main event, Bianca Belair defeated Bayley 1-on-1. And then, gave her KOD finisher again to send a message to Io Sky ahead of their title match at Crown Jewel to end the show. Despite that, and so that was a big deal because the Damage Control tried to attack Bianca backstage, tried to hurt her before the match. It didn't work. So Cena and Solo Sikoa had a face-off. Cena called Solo a wannabe Taz as his main burn, which is very interesting. And the other major thing of note was B-Fab, formerly of Hit Row, paid Lashley in the Super Harvest visit and told Lashley she wants to have a chat with him. So, looks like they may be adding a B-Fab maybe potentially to Lashley's new stable. They definitely need a name. They need to come up with a cool name because I can't keep calling Lashley stable because it's kind of generic. But that's basically what SmackDown was.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Justin, for that breakdown. But yeah, I mean, pretty solid show. I mean, just every time Roman in LA just keeps getting. It just seems like when people are like, "Does he really have it?" Yeah, he's got it.
He was really confident.
And then, but Roman, like you can tell, he's been wanting to say that you remind me of a knockoff cousin,
you're just like a redneck knockoff of my cousin. It's like. Right. Which is a criticism that other people have laid at him, that he's ripping off or imitating like The Rock and Stone Cold a little bit too much. It's like, so not surprised that he threw that dig out there, but LA Knight had some good comebacks, so it's like they had a good back and forth there. LA Knight was definitely doing a good job holding his own against Roman on the mic.
Yeah. And then the Pretty Deadly stuff.
Pretty Deadly is awesome.
Yeah, Pretty Deadly is awesome. I mean, they can just anytime they're on screen, like yes. And then yeah, I mean, Cena solo, cool, whatever. We'll get more into what that actually ended up being.
The wannabe Taz dig was a little weird, but it's like.
I was okay with it. It was fine.
Maybe because he wears the towel on his head, because that's one of the things Taz used to do back in his ECWs. He'd walk up the ring, he had the towel on his head. It's like so. Maybe that's what he was thinking of.
Maybe. I mean, at the end of the day, the BFAB thing that'd be interesting to see if they can do something with that.
Yeah. No.
And then the other thing, let's see.
What do you think of Charlotte and Shotzi beating the? It's annoying when the tag champs lose a non-title match like that. It's like it felt out of place. It's like because people rolling their eyes. I saw online going, "Oh, great, Charlotte's getting a shot at another title now." It's like,
yeah. Well, but the thing is, the tag champs, they've yet to do anything. Like Chelsea's making it as best as she can, but they just keep diminishing the tag titles every single time.
Well, they've been defending them at least. I mean, they defended them on NXT at Halloween Havoc. It's not like they're not defending champions and stuff. And but they got a lot of people coming for them. I mean, they have this mini feud with Natty that's probably gonna lead to her and Tegan try to take the titles from them. Unholy Union, Fire and Ilsa Dawn have made it clear that the whole we have cursed you in the titles, and we're going to get the titles from you sooner or later. So they got people coming for them. So that's a good thing, and it's a good thing because it's like I'm happy that Chelsea and Piper are given spotlight and stuff to do, and they're running with it. Triple H is giving them a bit of is giving them some handoffs, and they're getting first downs. It's like no, you're not touchdowns yet, but they're doing good, I think.
Yeah.
With what they're being given.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have. That way we can kind of go on to. So sorry if we kept it a little short on SmackDown. Typically it's been a little bit longer, but
it was a decent typical go home for the pay-per-view kind of deal.
Yeah. So all right. Well, now for I think the main event, even though it's the second recap they're going to do of the other ones that we do, but just kind of go ahead and tell us about Crown Jewel, what all happened, and then we'll come back and talk about what we like, what we didn't like, and what we think is going to be what the results are coming through this.
All right. So for Crown Jewel from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on Saturday afternoon, nighttime in Saudi. Sorry. On the pre-show, Sami Zayn defeated Jay McDonough. No surprise there. We called that. The opening match was Seth Rollins defeating Drew McIntyre to remain the WWE World Champion on Raw, which we also called. Really competitive. It took a bit, but that match really got to cook at the end. They kicked out each other's finishers, and then Seth was finally able to defeat him with a pedigree and then a stomp right afterwards to finally put Drew down. Damian Priest came out, tried to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase on Seth, but Sami Zayn appeared out of nowhere and attacked him and stole the briefcase and ran off with it to nix that. More on that when we get to Raw. Rhea Ripley then, no surprise, defeated Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, Zoe Stark, and Shayna Baszler in a fatal 5-way match to remain the WWE Women's World Champion. Pretty fast-paced. They were really going back and forth. It's it wasn't a long match, but there was definitely a lot of action, which was good. Some really cool moments. Finish was really cool, where Raquel had was looking to get the win and pin Shayna to win the title, but Rhea then took Zoe Stark and riptied her on top of both of them. Dumped the two of them off and then pinned Shayna to win the match. Really cool finish. Probably one of the surprises, because we did not think this was going to happen, but Solo Sikoa defeated John Cena straight up clean. No bloodline shenanigans. He destroyed Cena with multiple Samoan spikes in a row before pinning him. It was quite the beatdown. Fans were left in shock. I think it definitely had an effect on how they because they weren't too hot for the next two matches. They didn't get really hot again until Cody Damian and then the main event. So maybe it cooled them off a bit, but fans gave Cena a standing ovation afterwards. It's like showing him some love. Props to Cena for wanting to put Solo over like that as a monster slayer like that. We had a time killer segment, Miz TV. He brought out a famous Saudi actor, Ibrahim Hajjaj. Kind of heard him, but not too familiar with him. It was just kind of like something to, kill time. Grayson Waller came out, tried to take over with his own talk show. Miz didn't appreciate that, so Miz and the actor teamed up and beat up Grayson. Another one we called Logan Paul defeated Rey Mysterio to win the U.S. title. Finish came when one of Paul's lackeys tried to slip him some brass knuckles, classic wrestling heel move. Santos Escobar appeared, tried to stop it, and then while he was chasing the guy off, he left the brass knuckles right on the apron of the ring, which allowed Logan Paul to grab them just before he got hit to block a 619 attempt with the brass knucks. He blasted right with them and got the win. So that's it's like, did Santos do that on accident or purpose? I guess we'll find out later. Then after that, Io Sky defeated Bianca Belair to retain the WWE Women's Championship. They really tried. They were putting on the effort, but the crowd was unfortunately pretty quiet during most of this match. They didn't start getting into it until they didn't really react until Kari Sane appeared out of nowhere, returning to WWE, as we said. She attacked Bianca, knocked her silly with a spinning elbow, and then fed her to Io, who hit her with the moonsault to retain. Io and Kyrie then beat up on Bianca afterwards. Kyrie hit her finisher, the insane elbow on Bianca. And then her and Kyrie hugged in the ring and celebrated. And Bayley, who had come out to try to do some shenanigans to help Io out, was left with a look of shock at ringside. And Michael Cole did a good job of pointing out that last time Kyrie was seen in WWE was she was getting the crap beat out of her by Bayley during the in 2020 during the pandemic Thunderdome era at the PC. Asuka was having a match with Sasha Banks for the title, and Bayley attacked Kyrie in the back, and that caused Asuka to get distracted, and she ended up losing the title in the match. But she was more concerned about Kyrie because of their friendship and them being former tag team champions. So he brought that up. So I was like, oh, okay. We might be seeing a edge being exercised from Judgment Day kind of situation, potentially with Bayley and Damage Control, with Kyrie being back and on Io's side. Crowd woke up, of course, thanks to Cody Rhodes. He defeated Damian Priest. This was a really fun match. Cody needed 3 crossroads to put Damian down. Judgment Day tried their usual shenanigans to try to help Priest win, but Jey Uso came out and took care of business, had Cody's back, letting him get the victory. That definitely helped wake the crowd back up. They were Cody's got the 3 biggest pops. The 4 biggest pops were Sammy, Cena, Cody, and of course LA Knight from the crowd. So that was nice. And then we had the main event. Roman Reigns defending the WWE title against LA Knight. Yeah. Big reaction for LA Knight. This was a good match. Good main event. Only drawback was it was the usual bloodline shenanigans, lots of interference that helped Roman defeat LA Knight to remain champion, as we all expected to happen. So overall, pretty good show. Definitely. I mean, there was no bad matches. Nothing too mind blowing. Seth Drew took a bit, but again got really good at the end. Cody and Damian, I thought, had one of the better matches in the show.
I thought that was a match of the night. I thought that was a match of the night. Cody.
Yeah, that. It's outside. That was one of the ones that the opener. Cody Priest and LA Knight Roman had the most excitement out of the fans. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and the fans helped that too, because you could just tell there was a difference. They were fully just this is the one they were waiting for, which this just shows you how over Cody is and why he should have had the belt beforehand. But that's beside the point. We'll just beat that dead horse till Kingdom Come. I don't care. But as much as some of those Cody naysayers want to say, like, the dude's over. He's the number one.
Yeah, I mean,
sale.
Yeah,
he's over.
Outside of Cena putting Solo over like he did, there was none of any of those surprises. Everyone who we thought was going to win won their matches.
Yeah.
So that was the only I was like, oh, okay. And the other big surprise was Kari Sane's return.
Right. Are you so obviously we were surprised with Cena, but this is the third time that I can remember since Cena became Super Cena that he has been squashed. The other two were Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. And the third one, right. Solo Sikoa. Like that's the storyline that I'm like, okay, they're Cena really. I think he realized that the Cena bump doesn't mean anything. You've got to really hammer it in, all pun intended, on that with a Samoan spike.
This was a better. Cena did better by Solo with how he lost this match versus Austin Theory at WrestleMania earlier this year. It's like night and day. That match was not that great. It didn't really do Austin Theory any favors whatsoever. This with not only did he beat him, but the way he beat him, where it's like he just wrecked him. It's like he was just kept hitting Samoan spikes, wouldn't pin him, just kept. He wasn't trying to beat Cena. He was trying to murderize him.
Right.
And it's like to send a message. And this is a really good way to reheat Solo as a monster enforcer for Roman, especially when they eventually he finally turns on Roman, so it makes him even more of a dangerous threat to Roman when that split finally happens. So this definitely was a good thing for Solo Sikoa.
Yeah,
so, props to Cena for willing to do that.
And I guess the last thing.
Which may be the last time we see Cena for a while because the actor strike ended today. So
I don't know if the studios keep canceling his films that he completes for a tax write-off. I
heard that too. Yeah, it's like
okay, whatever. You probably would have made a crap ton more money than writing it off, but
we'll
I
see.
don't know.
I mean, he hasn't. I don't think he's been advertised for SmackDown yet, but we'll see if he makes one final appearance before he goes back to Hollywood. So
yeah. And the last thing I wanted to end on with Crown Jewel, we were hoping it wasn't the finish that it's been for the past 4 matches that he's had.
Yeah, that was the only problem I had. It was that I was like, oh god, here comes a bloodline to save Roman again. So many people I know are sick and tired of it, like Son Ross Sapp and a lot of other people that I follow that were reviewing the show said the same thing. Main event was good showing for LA Knight, but dear God, come up with a better way for Roman to win than for
it's just the
Solo
same
and
beats.
Jimmy to come
That's
out.
That's the problem. It's the same freaking beats of
Roman
starts the match.
This is why people want, like us wanted Cody to win, because he wins the same way. It's just about almost every match. It's like
but it's the same match altogether. The first part is Roman. Obviously, it's a typical heel. Then the baby face makes a comeback.
Yeah,
and then,
they need to change up the formula. His matches have become very too formulaic, too predictable.
But it's the same thing of I literally saw the same thing with Jay, with Cody, with Sammy. I saw the same match 3 times against 3 different people in a different setting.
Yeah, like Elimination Chamber. Jay interfered against Sammy, cost him the championship. At WrestleMania, Solo snuck back out, even though he'd been thrown out, snuck back in behind the ref's back. Simone spiked Cody, which helped Roman win at WrestleMania. It's like Jimmy turning on Jay at SummerSlam cost him the match. It's like the only major match he's had in a while that it's like there was no bloodline interference was when him and Solo took on the Usos in that tag match at I think was it Fastlane?
Yeah, might have been Fastlane.
It's like every time it's a Roman title match where it's like someone associated with the bloodline interferes in the match to save Roman's bacon. It's like it's so tiring. It's like
And it's not even that. It's like the beginning of it where Roman, like, obviously the heel does work, but the Roman does the same, like, this is your guy. Like, he does the same, like, even when he's, like, acting all cocky, just walking around, like, really? This is your challenger? This is what you brought before me? Blah, 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 blah. He said this. I think he says the same line.
It's supposed to be, it's like, it wasn't always like this. I mean, there was a lot of ones where he won, like, very decisively and cleanly. You know, it's like, but, like, the last year, especially, I think since the Bloodline, they took advantage of the stip, and the entire Bloodline helped them beat Brock at SummerSlam last year when they had the last man standing match. It's like, it's just like, it's become so predictable and annoying. It's like there's not. It's like, can you let? How about we have Roman like beat someone clean?
Right.
It's like, I guess they don't want someone to look too bad losing to Roman, but it's like, you gotta change up the formula still. And it's like,
yeah,
because like I was thinking they're probably gonna have interference again, because they don't want to have the LA's loss be entirely clean, and so that's exactly what happened. So, but still, the matchup to the finish was just fine. I thought it's like, he's still good in the ring. It's just that it's like they got to change up the how these matches happen. His title matches happen. Yeah. It's like it's really people are like sick and tired of the same old.
Yeah. So, but I mean, again, but still, compared to what we had 3 years ago, definitely pretty good stuff there. So, all right, so that's Crown Jewel. So if you would like, tell us a little bit about Raw.
All right, so on to Monday Night Raw with the fallout from the pay-per-view. Seth Rollins came out to open show to cut a promo, talking about defeating Drew at Crown Jewel. And then I was talking about how Damian Priest tried to cash in, and that Sammy stopped him, and he wanted Sammy to come out and talk to him. Sammy came out without the briefcase. He may let everyone know that Adam Pearce made him give up the briefcase so that he could give it back to Damian Priest. Seth wanted to, and he explained that he didn't do it necessarily for Seth. It was more about trying to prevent Judgment Day becoming replacing the Bloodline by with them having all the all the titles on Raw, all the titles except the Intercontinental title on Raw. Like, didn't want them to have too much control. Was trying to stick it to him. And Seth was like, I understand, appreciate it. So I want to thank you though. You could have a title match against me anytime, anywhere. And Sammy's like, okay, then let's do it tonight. So that was the main event. Judgment Day was not happy, especially Damian Priest in the back, about this whole situation. Sammy getting a title shot, especially after he prevented Damian from cashing in again. Funny little bit where he, JD McDonough is now pretty much, even though they haven't said it, it's like he's part of Judgment Day. He's pretty much part of Judgment Day now, because he's always with them now. There's a funny bit where he had one of Damian's shirts on, and Damian was like, "Did you pay for that shirt?" I thought it was really funny. So then Judgment Day then took out their frustrations on the New Day. They defeated New Day in a non-title match. Pretty good match. Surprised that this happened on free TV. Usually you think this is something on pay-per-view, but maybe we'll see it happen again down the line. Who knows? Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Akira Tozawa. No surprise there. Alpha Academy tried to cheer him out afterwards. He was pretty bummed. Very clear, decisive victory for Shinsuke. So I don't know where Shinsuke is going to find a real challenge. We'll see. We had a 4-way number 1 contenders match. The Miz defeated Bronson Reed, Ivar, and Ricochet to become the number 1 contender to the Intercontinental title. So he will face Gunther at Survivor Series for the title. There was kind of a botch to the end of this match. I think people are saying it looked like they were trying to go for like stereo pins with Ivar pinning Ricochet and Miz pinning Bronson Reed to throw some chaos in this whole thing, and then set up a match for them next week. So who really was the number contender? But Ricochet kicked out of the moonsault that Ivar hit him with, which kind of definitely was obviously not the plan, because the ref was kind of confused and everyone was kind of confused. But then they just kind of like were like, nope. So since he kicked out, Miz is the clear winner. Ivar attacked Miz afterwards, moonsaulted him, setting up a grudge match between them next week. So the Miz face turn, it kicks into another gear with him taking on Gunther at Survivor Series. Creed Brothers made it official. Them and Ivan Isle signed their contracts for Raw in Adam Pearce's office, so they're now officially on the Raw roster going forward. Good for them. They took on DIY, which also I was like, why are we getting this on TV, man? This is like a pay-per-view match. Hopefully someday for the tag titles between the two of them. Fingers crossed. I was kind of worried what was going to happen because I was like, well, obviously they want to push the Creeds, but they defeated DIY, but that was because Imperium came out and Kaiser hit Johnny Gargano on the back with the head with Enziguri. And that allowed the Creeds to hit their finisher to beat DIY. So it was not a clean win over DIY to further the feud between DIY and Imperium. So I'm okay with it. And another number one contender situation, we had a battle royal for the women's roster to determine who would face Rhea for the world title at Survivor Series. Most of the big names are in there. The tag team champions were in there. Becky Lynch and Xia Li were going to be in it, but just before Becky could get into the ring, Xia Li came out and hit her with her spinning kick finisher, knocking poor Becky silly. And so Becky was taken to back and was taken out of the match. And Adam Pearce was pissed off at Xia for doing that and kicked her out of the match and out of the building as punishment. The Becky Lynch Xia Li feud is now official and kicked into another gear because she knocked her silly like she did Cancer last week. The man's not going to let that stand for very much longer. Zoe Stark ended up winning the Battle Royal, which is kind of a surprise. I thought Nia Jax was kind of like the odds-on favorite, but the final four took her out, which included Ivan Isle. Ivan Isle got quite the shine in this Battle Royal. She got a lot of focus, got a couple of eliminations, made it to the final four. But Nia pulled her off the apron as payback. So it was down to Raquel against Shayna and Zoe. Raquel tried, but the numbers were too much, and they tossed her. And then Zoe took out her new ally, Shayna Baszler, to win the match. Cool result. Good for Zoe. I'm glad that they're giving her a chance against Rhea. So that I know some people are not going to be excited, but I think the match will be good. So it's like this could be a good thing for Zoe Stark. So very cool. Then we had the main event. Seth Rollins successfully defeated Sami Zayn to retain the world title. Very great main event match between the two of them. Very pay-per-view worthy. Lots of back and forth near the end. They were trading near falls, and then Seth finally caught him with a roll-up to win. Sammy was pretty not happy they lost, but then eventually shook Seth's hand. And then as he was about to leave, Judgment Day came out and attacked both of them, beating them down. And so that brought out both Jey Uso and then Cody Rhodes to even the odds. All fighting Judgment Day all over ringside. Adam Pearson and security and everybody came out, tried to keep order, but they were having trouble. And Adam Pearce got on the mic, said he was tired of this crap with going on with Judgment Day every week. So he made it official that Judgment Day, as we speculated, it's Judgment Day versus the Babyfaces in a War Games match for SummerSlam. So about friggin' time. Adam Pearce tried to do the cool War Games. It's like
he did really well.
I thought he did a decent job, but it's not William Regal. Yeah,
no, it'll never be William Regal. That was as close as we've gotten.
Yeah. So that was Monday Night Raw. The Babyfaces continued to brawl with Judgment Day to end the show. Just a quick note. I saw online a fan posted to YouTube a video that he took after Raw went off the air. The Babyfaces all took turns talking, hyping up Survivor Series, and then Cody said that he Jay and Sammy, he knows them. They go way back. He knows he's got their back, and basically he was like, Seth, I know we've had our differences. We're not friends, but we got to work together to take on Judgment Day. What do you say? And Seth offered his handshake. Seth looked like he was going to leave. The fans started booing, and then changed his mind, came back in the ring, shook Cody's hand, so making the babyface team a lock.
Yeah. But yeah, I did not have Seth Rollins on my War Games.
No, I was not,
card.
but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Priest has been trying to cash in on him for a while. Yep. Keeps getting thwarted by Sammy or someone else. They've been trying to get the title off. They've been trying to take the title from him for a while with Damian. So it makes sense that he's been pulled into the War Games match.
Yeah.
It makes total sense. So
for sure.
I think it's going to be awesome. It's too bad that they don't allow blood because you know that Cody would love to bleed in a War Games match.
Yeah. Well, it is the first time Cody's been in a War Games match.
It is wild.
War Games.
This is the first time Cody's going to get to do a War Games match. The match that his father, American Dream Dusty Rhodes, created. His brother Dustin fought in more than one War Games match back in the WCW days. So, it's really cool that he's finally going to get to do a War Games match himself. So
yeah,
I think he's probably very excited that he's finally going to get to do a War Games match. So this is going to be good.
Did Shinsuke and Gunther not recently, since Gunther's been on this, since Gable and everything, has Shinsuke had a war with Gunther?
I think
we're waiting.
Fought Gunther, but he lost. It was a pretty good match. It was a Raw match. I can't remember exactly, but
I mean, I know they've had a match before, but not since Shinsuke has become Shinsuke. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
On that,
there was a lot of backstage stuff. The only thing to note was Becky cut a promo before the Battle Royal, teasing once again, getting her and Rhea Ripley having a throwdown. It's like, which is the future money match. But obviously, they're delayed as long as possible, as we suspect, because until make it so that's not going to happen until WrestleMania. So right. That's why we got Zoe winning the Battle Royal, and to way to protect Becky. It was way to protect Becky because the fans probably would not have been, because the fans would have wanted to see Becky win, especially if she made it to the Final Four. They probably would not have been happy, because that would have taken the focus off of Zoe winning. If she'd been in the match, kind of, I think. So to kind of like protect Becky, and also to further this new feud with Xia Li, they had Xia attack her and take her out of the match. So that adds fuel to the fire for the man to retaliate. And there's more to that with Xia showing up on NXT, which I'll get to in a little bit.
And they're highlighting multiple stars and actually making them meet.
I hope this works. We'll see if this works for Xia. I mean, like obviously they see something in her, so that it's like putting her into a feud with Becky means that it's like they have high hopes for her.
Again, it's just you're just not. You're actually trying to make other stars work. If they don't, they don't. Yeah. It's fine. But at least you're trying.
Yeah.
And you're actually giving them time to develop, and just not, the crowd didn't like it. I'm like, some crowds suck. I'm sorry. Yeah. They just do. Yeah. On that. So like you said, like Crown Jewel, they kind of were just kind of until Cody Rhodes came out. So I mean, it's just kind of how it is there. Yes, you were right about the Jada McDonough, like, why are you wearing my merch? Like, he was like, it's just
that was hilarious. That was hilarious. Did you pay for that shirt?
Yeah. And then I didn't understand how like Sammy steals the briefcase and then he just gives it to Adam Pearce. Like that was weird. Storyline wise there.
Yeah, well, it's like he's not a heel, so he's not gonna. It's not like when the Miz end up stealing literally in a match, defeated Otis to take the Money in the Bank briefcase from him. Which that was a low point for Otis, man. That's like that was unfortunate. So but it makes sense, it appears to be like, look, you he won it. It doesn't belong to you. Please give it back. And Sammy's gonna be like, all right, fine. He did what he did. It's like he had served his purpose. It's like he didn't want Damian to cash in, and he stopped him. So that was that. And he got a title shot out of it. I hope to see Sammy finally have be a world champion. Yeah. I want to see it really badly.
I really do too.
It definitely felt like they're building towards something like that happening, because especially because they were talking about how big an opportunity is. I mean, like especially after his match with Roman at Elimination Chamber earlier this year. It was in Montreal, especially with Jey Uso hyping him up afterwards. So it's like they were making a big deal out of it. It's like, but Seth's not losing the title yet, so it's like I knew Sami was going to lose, but they had a hell of a match anyway. So
yep. A couple more things, and we'll wrap up Raw here. Miss Babyface, the fans seem to like it.
The fans are cheering for him, so it's working. I know some people aren't thrilled about it. Oh, geez, the Miz against Gunther. I'm fine with it because it's Gunther beating another. Miz has been a long tenured veteran. He's still got name recognition, and the fans are still into him. They were cheering for him. So this face turn it worked. Much to my surprise.
Yeah. And shout out to that Ricochet spot. That was cool. But you can just tell the referee was like, oh, this like the end of it is like, okay.
Yeah. Sure. Where does Ricochet's in concussion protocol? He might have gotten
that from that spot because it went right on his head.
Yeah. So hopefully he's okay.
And the last thing I just want to touch on is we got like two kind of AEW type stuff where it was just like, hey, those like great tag team matches that had no build? Let's do DIY and the Creed Brothers, and then also
that was my other
Judgment Day versus a New Day. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like I was like those two tag matches. I'm like hell yeah, but I'm like
that's a house show.
It's like. But like I said, the only reason I'm okay with DIY losing the Creeds was because Imperium screwed it.
That makes sense.
It makes sense because it's like it's like to further the feud, it gives the Creed a win, but also it's not a clean win. Yeah, they beat DIY, but it's like Imperium technically kind of gave the match, they handed them the win. So that'll piss DIY off more, and they're gonna get their payback on Imperium eventually. But man, this tag scene now with the Creed brothers, oh man, you got Judgment Day is solid. You got New Day, you've got the Creeds, you've got DIY. The tag scene on Raw is strong right now, man.
Yeah,
holy cow. Yeah. I'm looking forward to. Who do you think is going to take the titles off of Judgment Day? You think maybe? I think it's either DIY or the DIY isn't feuding with Appearance, so I don't think they're getting the titles yet. Do you think maybe they're going to put the? I love the Creed brothers, but them winning the titles in the near future would seem a little too fast.
You can't give it to them that quick.
No,
I don't know. We'll just see. We'll have to wait after War Games to see what they do.
Yeah, that's true. We'll get a more clear picture because I think. I'm leaning toward the Babyfaces getting a big win over Judgment Day War Games, and that's going to kickstart further crumbling in the cracks of Judgment Day that have been teased for quite a while.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I think that is it.
Yeah,
for Raw. So go ahead.
Raw.
Pretty solid Raw. Yeah. Pretty solid. Well, other than the fact that it was the same crap that we've been dealing with, but we just knew where we were going as far as how it ended. Like, then they come out.
Matches that made me happy to see. Yeah.
So good stuff there. All right, tell us about AEW.
Okay, we'll start with Collision on Saturday. Quickie results here. Strickland defeated AR Fox in the opener. Darby Allin took on Lance Archer. Got a little lucky against Lance Archer. Lance Archer beat the crap out of him for most of the match. Jake the Snake was not happy about this and revealed that the Righteous was also in his new little stable with Lance Archer. And that set up a 6-man tag for this coming Collision with Lance Archer and the Righteous against Sting, Darby, and Adam Copeland. The Acclaimed and Billy Gunn had their little 69 celebration thing. It was interrupted by Dalton Castle and his boys, his guys. He wrecked the trophy that they had, which led to a match, and the Acclaimed won. That is what it is. It was entertaining. Andrade revealed that he's going to give CJ Perry an answer to whether he will accept her as his new manager next week on Collision. So better watch out for Miro, Andrade. Then we had Mark Briscoe, Dustin Rhodes, and Keith Lee defeated Kip Sabian and the Workhorsemen. Willow Nightingale defeated Emi Sakura. And then the main event, FTR and LFI defeated the Gates of Agony and Ricky Starks, Big Bill in a man tag match. LFI got the pin on, I think, the Gates of Agony. They didn't want to shake FTR's hands. It was more like, like, we're not friends. It was just like mutual enemies kind of thing, which disappointed FTR a little bit. But then the lights went out, and once again, the House of Black attacked FTR. But this time, the Blackpool Combat Club, in the form of Claudio and Wheeler Yuta, came out to make the save, and they shook hands to end the show. Excuse me. Then we moved over to Dynamite. We had a cold open with Jeff being interviewed by Renee, and had Adam Cole again via Zoom, I guess. Cole still thinks that MJF should take the deal with Samoa Joe. Got interrupted by Daniel Garcia 2.0, talking smack, and then Strong in the Kingdom doing the same, the usual stuff that's been going on between everybody. The opening match was MJF defeating Daniel Garcia to remain AEW champion, even though Jay White still has possession of the title belt heading into the pay-per-view. MJF offered a handshake of respect afterwards, but Daniel Garcia almost took it, but 2.0 stopped him from accepting the handshake to massive boos from the fans. Damn, MJF is really over his babyface. It's pretty impressive. Darby Allin and Sting defeated the Outrunners. It was a match to warm them up. Really good match between Swerve and Penta. Swerve defeated Penta. He tried to rip off Penta's mask afterwards, but Hangman and Page came out to attack. He had a chair with him, and he beat up on Swerve and put him through a table with the Dead Eye. His payback. So that feud keeps on heating up. He had a backstage segment where Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho were being talked to with Renee, and the Bucks confronted them again, bitching and moaning to Kenny about working with Jericho and not teaming together. And so there was a lot back and forth, and they agreed to have a tag team match against each other at Full Gear with stakes. If the Young Bucks win the match, Kenny Omega and Jericho are done as a tag team. But if Kenny and Jericho win, they get possession of the tag title shot that the Bucks won a while back. So that finally is brought back into the storyline after being ignored for the last several weeks. So that was a bit of a surprise there. Then we had Samoa Joe defeating Keith Lee in a Haas fight. Meat chants from the fans. It was big meat men slapping meat. Not as awesome as Miro and Hobbs from the pay-per-view recently, but still a good TV match. Samoa Joe cut a promo afterwards saying that he's choosing to vacate the ROH TV title after he's broken all records holding it for as long as he has, because he wants to focus on taking the AEW title from MJF. Interesting development there. The Guns squashed the Bollywood Boys in like 30 seconds. It's just a massive squash. Just destroyed them, poor guys. And then cut a promo on MJF to build toward their ROH tag title match at the pay-per-view. Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley had dueling promos, hyping up their pay-per-view match. Taking Moxley and Yuta also took some shots at Hook too. Yuta's talking smack at Hook, so they're definitely sucking into this whole feud for sure. Giulia Hart defeated Red Velvet. She tried to deliver further punishment to her afterwards, but Sky Blue came out, confronted Giulia. They had a stare down. Chris Statler and Will Nightingale then came out to back her up, and Giulia Hart left without causing any more issues. So that whole situation between those two is not over yet. And then the main event, really good main event match. Jay White took on Mark Briscoe. Jay White won with the Blade Runner. Really competitive match. MJF appeared out of nowhere to surprise him after the match. Laid out everyone except Jay White with the diamond ring, but Jay was able to escape with the title belt again before he could get his hands on it. Cut a big babyface promo on Jay White, ripping into him, saying that he's going to have to kill him in order to take the title from him at Full Gear pay-per-view next Saturday, and said that he's going to win for Adam Cole and all the fans because he is their scumbag. before Jay White could make any kind of response, all of a sudden the lights went out, and the video screen showed in the back the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn were being attacked by the same mystery masked men that attacked Jay White a couple weeks ago. Poor Bones was thrown through a glass window. The devil mask appeared on the screen as well, and before it cut out. MJF ran backstage to check on the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn, make sure they're okay. He was really upset. And then Samoa Joe walked by and was like, "You're running out of friends, pal." Pretty much implying you better accept my help at this point or else to end Dynamite. The other things was there was some interview stuff, more backstage stuff. Tony Schiavone had to sit down with Hikaru Shida and time this Tony Storm, all in black and white, which was a nice touch. Set up, hyping up their match. There was some good stuff there. And then the other thing was RJ City talked with a new AEW signee, Maria May, who was wrestling for Stardom. And she pretty much made it clear she is a Timeless Tony fan, kind of almost stalkerish, saying that she was one of the reasons she came. So it's like, I have mixed feelings about back. Remember when Mickey James the stalker angle with Trish back in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The main thing I took away is just how over MJF and how much it works for a babyface. I never would have thought I would.
If you told me a year ago when
type of babyface, not that like he's being babyface, but he has alternative motives.
He's kind of like tweener-ish, where it's like he still acts heelish, but he is a babyface. It's kind of tweener-ish kind of babyface, which anti-hero, the anti-hero kind of babyface that Stone Cold popularized. Yeah, if you told me a year ago when he was like the biggest heel, one of the biggest heels in the company, and he won the title, that a year later he would have turned face thanks to the whole angle with Adam Cole, and not only did he turn, but that the turn worked, and he's like super over as a babyface. I would have been like, wow, really? But they pulled it off. It's like it's one of the best things AEW's got going for him, angle wise, is this whole thing.
Right.
Yeah,
but no, I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, I'm very curious. They better have a good payoff for whoever is behind the mask and behind these attacks.
Right.
I heard some speculation. Some people are like, "Oh, he gets Adam Cole." It's like, no, he's out injured. He's not going to be back for a while because this is something that's going to pay off in the very near future, not like months from now. Because they wouldn't be lying about that, which I thought was silly. Yeah, but wrestling fans are wrestling fans. Interesting theory I saw is some people saying maybe it's Jack Perry
because he threw them through the glass. That's why.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing that made people go, was Bones being thrown through the glass window.
Right.
Was that just a coincidence, or was that a hint of who's behind this?
Right.
Because the whole glass thing was one of the things that caused the beef between him and CM Punk, which led to him getting suspended and Punk getting fired from the company when they got to the fight at the stadium.
Yeah, my really super into, if you don't know wrestling history or even behind the scenes stuff, is Christopher Daniels, because he was supposed to be the higher power way back when, or that was the rumor, and then it just didn't work out.
Oh, that's right.
Now, that's probably not going to happen, but that'd be hilarious if it did.
But actually, Perry would make sense because of, they had the whole Pillars thing earlier this year, and, it's like, he already had done the heel turn anyway in that feud with Hook.
It makes more sense for Perry. It pretty much does. Like,
I think the odds are it's going to be Perry. That's how he's going to come back on the TV. Because it's like, because people are wondering like, well, when he's going to come back? I mean, like Tony's going to lift the suspension at some point and bring him back on TV. We'll see. I think that's it's very likely of who's behind this.
Yep.
Because it's like, it's not, because they made it clear it's not MGF with what just happened here, despite Roderick Strong being like, it's MJF, Adam. Also, I forgot, props to AEW marketing, they turned Adam into a T-shirt.
That's good. Good for them on that. I like Giulia Hart. She just gets given better and better every show.
She's got a good moonsault. She's really improved as a worker. It's nice to see that there's some kind of feud, like I said, going on outside that doesn't involve any of the women's titles, which is nice to see. So, if you get to the point where you can have more than one women's match on Dynamite, that'd be a great thing, you know.
Yep.
So
they would. Let's see. What else do I need to? The Samoa Joe just giving up the title. I guess it's. I didn't like the way that he just gave it up.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, my friend was like, why?
Yeah. I know why. It's because they're just trying to get it on some other ROH talent, and they just want Samoa Joe not to be on there anymore.
And also
have them drop it then. It's not hard.
And they don't want They don't want to have Samoa Joe drop the title when he's being pushed as one of the people wanting to come after MJF next for the title after he's done with Jay White. So it's like they don't want him to take a pin loss, you know, when he's getting pushed like that. So that was their out where he's like, I don't need this title belt anymore. I want the world title. You know, it's like it's still kind of like not the best move. I get why they did it, but they should have come up with something better.
Yeah. Last thing is the Toni Storm, like they're really leaning into her character, and like you notice, like even in like when they're showing her in a match, she's black and white, like even her steals.
Like even Tony was like, yes, we're in black and white. Deal with it.
Yeah. So that Collision. I was trying to think what I was going to say about Collision. I can't.
So do you think? So what do you think? Do you think Andrade is going to say yes to CJ Perry and bring about the Wrath of Miro?
Sure. I mean, I'd rather have that than just going
give
back and forth.
Give the two guys something. Yeah,
give him something. You're paying them money. Might as well get some return on investment out of it.
They're not being used as much as they should be.
Yeah. And who's the glamour girl that they
her name is Mariah May from Stardom, the one that RJC was talking with.
She's Australian, right? Like Tony.
I think so.
Or New Zealand or somewhere around there. I think she is.
But she made it clear she's a big fan of Timeless Tony.
Yeah. So I think they're from the same.
I got Stalker vibes from that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Trish Stratus and Mickie James all over again.
She's English.
Okay. I knew she had an accent. I just didn't know because sometimes a British accent can sound like can be Australian. Australian accents can sound like they're British. So it's just kind of crazy how they're kind of very similar on that regard.
She's young. She's only 25. So she's
dang. She is really young. All right. Well, that is all I have for AEW. Anything else on AEW before we move on for our last promotion?
This House of Black thing with FTR is getting. I'm wondering where it's going to go, especially because just the Blackpool Comic. What they're doing with the Blackpool Comic Club is also Blackpool Comic Club is kind of like in a tweener mode where Moxley wants to destroy Orange Cassidy in a very heelish way. But at the same time,
they're being faces.
Yuta and Claudio make.
Okay, glad you brought that up because I've been thinking the same thing. I'm like, what are you?
In a babyface fashion against House of Black. I'm wondering where this leads to. I mean, I'd love to see House of Black versus Blackpool Comic Club feud. I think that would be awesome. It'd be very interesting to see that happen.
A lot of black. There's no colors. No colors. Just a bunch of black. Blackpool Comic Club versus House of Black. A lot of black.
Oh, one other thing that's kind of AEW related that I forgot to bring up before. Apparently, Bryan Danielson is going to be well enough to heal from his most recent injury because that match with Okada is on for Wrestle Kingdom. For the upcoming New Japan pay-per-view.
Danielson, please be okay. Don't do it. Don't stretch it out, dude. Don't push it.
He put out like a video basically saying like, I'm going to be ready in time, Okada. It's like, I'm going to get my payback.
Yeah. All right.
Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah.
So
that's in January, right? Wrestle Kingdom's in January.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the thing. That's what I was asking you the last time. So that makes sense because they said he's going to be out for the rest of the year. And I'm like a 12-month period, like they call a year, or like 2023. Yeah. So it looks like 2023, so he'll still be. But good. At least it's exactly what we were thinking and not it could have been worse, or just saying maybe
Obviously,
possibly here.
they wouldn't. AEW New Japan wouldn't have agreed to book this match if he wasn't going to be well enough by then. So,
Okay. All right. Anything else, and we will move on to
I think that's it.
the new CW show NXT.
Yeah. AEW is they're kind of getting a little more cohesive with some of the storylines. Some stuff's working, some of it's not, but at least they're trying. It's like this felt like a really good show this week, better than last week's for sure.
Just put the belt on Swerve, and we can leave it at that.
Swerve needs a title belt.
Yeah. Swerve needs to beat MJF. I'm just put it that way. I think he is the best person to take over the title.
That would I wouldn't be fine with that. Because I would have been happy for Wardlow to win it, but I think they've done. He's had his pushes stalled so much that it's like I don't know. I don't know if that's going to actually happen. So it's like Swerve needs should have a title on his waist sometime in the next year.
Yeah,
from AEW.
Yeah, so that's my thing. I think I
agree with you.
Champion. So, all right, tell us a little bit about NXT in the Sunglass Gate.
All right, so we had NXT on Tuesday night. Fallout from the Halloween Havoc. Show opened with Noam Dar defeating Akira Tozawa in British Round Rules match to remain the NXT Heritage Cup champion. His buddies Metaphor did some interference behind the ref's back, which helped him win the match. They tried to beat up Tozawa afterwards, but Alpha Academy got to beat up Mensa, member of Metaphor, and stood tall afterwards. Then we had the new NXT Women's Champion, Lyra Valkyria, came out for a promo, thanking the fans for support, put over Becky Lynch, saying that, it's like she bucks the trend of the saying, don't meet your heroes, because she is awesome, and that she's honored that she beat him for the title. She knows she's got her work cut out for her. She knows that she said that there's a lot of hungry women in the back who want to take the title from her, and she's going to be ready. And then brought out Xia Li, who came in from the crowd, not from the entrance, confronting Lyra, wanting a title shot, and bragging about how she hurt her idol Becky on Raw. Saying like, you saw what I did to Becky on Raw, I'm going to do that to you. So Lyra seemed pretty down with that. So it looks like Xia Li's going to be her first title defense coming up. Yeah, that's probably not going to go well for Xia, especially with Becky's not going to let what she did stand for much longer. So we'll see what happens. Then we had Tiffany Stratton defeated Fallon Henley to earn her spot in the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge match at the Deadline pay-per-view coming up in the beginning of December. Wesley had an interview backstage about it coming back, and he was interviewed by Baron Corbin, who's talked smack at him. Those two might throw down in the near future. Braun Breaker defeated Von Wagner in their grudge match in their feud. Von Wagner got payback because Braun tried to destroy Robert Stone afterwards, but Von Wagner powerbombed Braun through the announce desk as payback. Then we had Kelani Jordan teaming up with Roxanne Perez. They defeated Elektra Lopez and Lola Vice. Jordan hitting her very nice looking split-legged moonsault on Elektra to win the match. It was a pretty good match. Then due to Drew Gulak and his gang talking smack at Alpha Academy, that led to Otis taking on Drew Gulak in a match, and Otis won that very cleanly. Then we had a very interesting segment concerning Chase U. Jacy Jane was at Chase U, and she intercepted an envelope delivered by the Tony D'Angelo family meant for Andre Chase. Summer was around, and being still heelish, she opened up to see what's inside, and she was like, oh my God, while reading it, and then Andre Chase caught her and took it away from her. Thea Hale and Duke showed up, and they didn't talk about it. Jacy Jane not bringing it up, helping Andre Chase cover that up. He dismissed class, and he said that he'd talk to Duke later to strategize for their tag title defense against Tony D and Stax next week. After everyone left, he looked at what was inside the envelope, or whatever the document or letter was, and did not look happy. I have a theory I'll get to at the end. What that is. Then D-Jack in a surprise defeated Tyler Bate to earn a spot in the Men's Iron Survivor Challenge match. This was a great match between these two guys. I'm a big fans of both these guys for quite a while. I'm surprised Bate won, but good that they're giving D-Jack a little bit of a push into this match. But hopefully Tyler Bate will find a way into the match as well, because it'd be a shame to leave him out of it as well. That was like basically the main event match, but like the main event segment ended up being the Trick and Mello having a chat about what's been going on lately. Trick revealed that he didn't see who attacked him, and Mello was like, "So you didn't see who attacked him," being kind of a little shady. And Trick was trying to get to the point where he was basically going to demand an answer from Mello if he actually was involved with attacking him or not. Before Mello could provide any concrete answer to that, in response, Lexus King of all people came out and basically kind of like got in between them. He was implying that maybe he was responsible, or maybe that Mello did it without saying anything 100%. Kind of like basically stirring the shit between the two of them. Trick did not like that, went to attack him, but he dodged it and he punched Mello in the face by mistake. At first, Mello didn't shake hands, but he eventually let Trick pull him up. They shook hands and they shared a hug. But the camera focused in on a very unhappy Carmelo Hayes' face to end the show.
All right.
So
where are we going? Where's this? Obviously it's probably gonna be a Mello Trick thing, but this segment threw me for a loop compared to what I was thinking it was gonna go.
Yeah, well, they kind of hinted, and I noticed it too, because Lexus King kind of when he was interviewed on the show last week, he kind of hinted that he may have had a hand in what happened to Trick. I'm not sure. It's either two. There's only two possibilities at this point. Either Lexus did it and is trying to drive a wedge between the two of them, or Mello actually did it and he's going to turn heel again. So it could go either way. I mean, like, they're really hinting that he did something, which is kind of unfortunate because I really like the friendship between the two characters. So I'd hate to see that fall apart, but it feels like they're about to have their own little mini feud before Carmella goes to the main roster. Because he's probably going to be on the main roster in the next couple months.
Gotcha.
I feel the same for Braun Breaker. I think if Braun Breaker is not sent to the main roster via the Royal Rumble, I'll be disappointed. He's done everything in NXT that he possibly can. He's gotten so much better on the mic and in the ring, especially since he turned heel. It's time. It's like there's nothing much left for him to do in NXT. It's like, so. Hopefully he's going to get called up soon, because he's going to kick ass.
Yeah, for sure. Stratton was good. Wesley, I like the Wesley Barron thing. That'd be cool.
That was
two different styles. And that was pretty cool to see.
I like that. It was
developing.
Yeah, no, Wes had some good things to say. It's like, because Barron was like running him down and talking about like look what I'm doing. It's like. I sent a message to Ilya. I'm going to take the title from him, and kind of West was like hinting at he's going to take, because he's like, looks like I got another name to add to my list of people that he wants to deal with. So, I'd be down with that. I think that they could have a hell of a match.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So my theory about what was in the envelope of the Chase U storyline, I think what's going to be revealed is that Chase U was in financial trouble and he took a loan from Tony, and now Tony's calling to collect.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I think it's that Tony was like a loan shark. He loaned him some money to help the university, and now Tony's wanting to collect. So I think that's where that's going.
Do you think we're gonna? I still like the fact that they're still bringing some other people from the main roster still back with Alpha Academy and stuff like that. Do you think by October of 2024 it's going to be straight NXT talent, or are we still going to? This is the new norm.
I think this is the new norm because it's been working for them rating wise. I mean, look at the bump that they got when Becky was on with her run as the NXT Women's Champion. It's definitely helped. Ever since they started doing this, the ratings have slowly gotten better. So I think this is the norm where they're going to be rotating in certain people from the main show to kind of work in NXT for a bit and kind of like reestablish themselves. So we because this whole Baron Corbin is still there because they're really trying to rebuild his character in a good way and try to utilize him really well. I mean, that's what they were doing with Mustafa before. It's like he got cut loose, which was sad because he was doing some great. That whole angle he was working on was really working. Where he was like obviously heel, but acting like he was still a babyface. You know, it's like putting on this like babyface persona, even though it was very clearly he was a heel. It was working. So yeah, no, Alpha Academy with their gimmick that definitely fits in with NXT. So
okay.
I enjoyed seeing Alpha Academy on there. So yeah, and the ladies are. Hopefully Roxanne Perez is going to get into the Iron Survivor match. It'd be weird for her not to be involved in that. I think she's eventually going to get in there. Not sure who else is going to get plugged in. I think they're implying Kiana James because there was a segment where Kiana James and Tiffany Stratton are still like allies, but like they both want the NXT title, but they're kind of like we kind of like each other, but it's like when push comes to shove, it's like we're going to do what we need to do to win. But I kind of like you, so.
Right.
So they're still kind of allies at this point.
Yeah, it was kind of weird to see Roxanne Perez just in a random tag team match.
Well, it wasn't completely random, but it was kind of like it was built really quickly. Whereas like it was in a backstage segment where she was like sticking up for
Kalani
against the heels, and because they were talking because Vice was talking smack about her winning the breakout tournament, and she got and she's gonna cash in that title shot against Lyra at some point. But
gotcha.
Which is why Elektra Lopez took the pin. It's like in that tag match. No surprise there, because you're not going to have someone who just won a tournament to earn a women's title shot and have her lose in a tag match. It's like it's like Triple HBK is not going to do that to somebody.
No,
he's a smarter booker than that.
He's not.
But yeah, and also I think Blair. I think we're. I think. Let's see, because Tiffany's already in there. I think we're going to see. My guess is as far as who's probably going to end up being in the match, besides Tiffany, definitely with the backstage segment. I think they're going to find a way to get Kiana James there because they've been pushing her pretty hard. Same with Blair Davenport, Roxanne, and I'm not sure who the fifth person would be.
Gotcha. But no, overall, I mean, I only saw highlights again. I need to start really watching NXT with how they've been doing it. But
men's, I have no idea.
These are just to me every time, especially I'm very interested in the Trick Mello because I just think these guys are just stars.
Oh yeah,
you know how I feel about Roxanne.
I want to see what happens. I'm just worried that it feels like they're dragging it out a little bit too longer than it probably should. But I trust HBK to make the storyline work, and the guys are putting in the work, man, with on the mic to sell this whole situation.
I mean, they're stars anyway, but and Trick is over so bad.
Yeah, and the neat thing about the whole setup for the Iron Survivor match is that they've got legends revealing what the qualifying matches are. Mick Foley was the one who picked the two qualifying matches for the men and women this week. Lita's gonna reveal the next two matches in the next couple of days, probably by the weekend. And then the other two we're gonna do are gonna be JBL and Lawler.
Okay, so still.
Well,
I like what they're doing with NXT, especially it's never going to be that black and gold. It might be, who knows? But
it's cooking.
It's cooking in the right direction. I really need to start tuning in on that. But anything else on that?
No, it's like they're definitely starting to build toward deadline. They're setting up people who's going to be in the Iron Survivor Challenge matches, and the winner of those will get title shots against the women and men's champion down the line. afterwards. So it'll be very to see. I don't think Zaya is going to be. She's going to defend the title against Zaya at the pay-per-view. That's probably going to be against somebody else. We'll see what happens. I'm very to see who's going to be her first, Lyra's first major challenger for the title now that she's the champion. Zaya's guy was going to be a title defense, but she's not going to beat her. I'm not worried about that, especially with Becky lurking in the shadows. She's not going to let. She's not going to let she's going to have Lyra's back there against Zaya's bullshit. So
yeah. Last thing I will say, and I keep forgetting to bring it up, War Games. Circling back to it.
Okay.
Because of my Nostradamus prediction about Jimmy being in it.
Yeah.
War Games has always had 5 people. And Kevin Owens is sitting there doing dumb shit with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Nothing else to do. It's not going to be hard to get him in the match. It's not going to be hard to get Jimmy. The only problem is it's solo. What the hell are you supposed to do with that? So do you think it's going to stick with the 4? Or are we going to get our 5th?
I was also thinking 5th, but I was thinking totally different people as like if they're going to expand it to 5-on-5. I would like to see it go 5-on-5, but they're probably we'll see. They're probably going to stick with the 4-on-4. But what I think would be kind of cool is that Adam Pearce announces that they can each side can add one more person to the team, and that they think that Drew's going to side with them, but Drew completes the heel turn and sides with Judgment Day, and joins Judgment Day on the heel side, and so then.
Oh, I did not think about Drew, but that makes awesome sense.
And then, the babyface is going to be like, "Oh man, Jesus, Drew, it's like Drew turn now. So what we're going to do?" And then Cody will go, I think I know someone who can help us. Let me make a phone call. There are voices in my head. Randy Orton.
Oh, okay. I like that way better than the crap I just said.
We keep it secret that it's like right to the pay-per-view where like Seth and them are like, well, where is he? Is he going to show up? And Cody's going to be like, don't worry, he's going to be here. He'll show up. And so they'll tease it right until the match. And
that is genius, dude. Oh my gosh, what did I think?
That would be the awesomest.
Because that's when he's predicted to come back. Oh my gosh.
That would be an awesome way to have Orton return, is him be a surprise 5th member for the babyface team at Survivor.
Yeah, and then Drew be the other one.
The pop would be massive. It's
massive.
Like it's like the fans would go nuts if that happens. And they've done that before. Triple H has done that before. A couple years ago on one of the NXT War Games, the Undisputed Era was taken on babyface group. It was Ciampa, Keith Lee, Dijakovic, and they needed a 4th person.
It was KO, right?
Yep. And it wasn't revealed until the timer hit and KO came out, and the pop for KO coming out for that War Games match is massive. And that made sense because that was a side effect of that year. It was they had the whole NXT taking on the other 2 brands at Survivor Series, and Adam Cole and Undisputed Era beat up Kevin Owens on I think he was on Smackdown at the time, and so it made sense for him to come back for him to show up in NXT to help Ciampa and them, and them and Ciampa won the War Games match.
Yeah. No. All right, guys. Nostradamus Justin, just call it. I'm with them. At least Randy Orton, I think, is going to be the 5th member if they are going to add 5. That's
how I would book it.
Yeah, well,
we don't know that's going to happen.
What else are they going to do with Drew right now?
Exactly.
And Drew is slowly getting to the heel. So
that was the thing I forgot to mention. Drew, he showed up. I forget her name. Tried to get questions out of him, and he just like turned around and left. So
yeah, that was a fun segment. Drew, okay, thanks for talking. Yeah, cool.
I like how she sold it, where she's like, gee, thanks a lot. Like
yeah. So, but yeah, I will end it on that. That's a good thing.
That's my crazy prediction of the week.
Right. So we'll end that on your crazy prediction because I don't think it's that crazy. I think it's genius, and they should book it. But anybody else, thank you so much for joining us. Those have like, subscribe, join the Ruckus, patreon.com/RuckusEV. We have such good times here. Multiple things we have obviously going on. Me and Justin will be here every Thursday until we will tell you if we have to switch it up, but that's what we're doing. So please, thank you, like, subscribe, and we will see you next time.